How's it going, friends and neighbors? It's Combs, and guys, today on Adventures with yours truly, it has been a minute since I've done a video on the 2020 Teryx that I've had for 3 years now, which is absolutely insane to me. It's been that long since I have owned this particular piece of equipment, and so yeah, I was going to go through basically how it's held up, what I've done to it, what others have done to it, and kind of go from there. So the only items that I myself have put on the Teryx has been the front bumper here. The stinger needs a little work. Basically, it got some rub there. Also, this got bent in a accident that is not my fault. And then the winch. Now, it did have a light bar on it at one point, but due to a recent development, it no longer has a roof or a light bar. Also, another one of those things that was not really my fault. So, for those of you that are new to the channel, as I know the Teryx videos and the Can-Am Riker videos bring a lot of new people to the channel. First and foremost, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Combs, and welcome to Adventures with yours truly. So this is my 2020 Kawasaki Teryx 4-seat in the camo package. Like I said, I have owned this vehicle now for 3 years, which is crazy to me that it's been that long since I've owned it. But yeah, so the reason I say, you know, things that other people have done to it, so I actually let a friend of mine borrow this back in 2022, and it got wrecked. But he fixed it better than it was before. He actually originally was going to have a guy build a cage for it, but unfortunately the guy actually tried to not only screw him out of money, but also was going to sell my side-by-side. He was actually getting ready to list it as an as-is unit with no title. Yeah, so needless to say, that dude is currently serving some jail time, which he most definitely needs. So anyway, when my buddy borrowed it, you know, and that whole fiasco happened, I didn't have it at all for basically most of 2022. So I went on one trip over to a buddy's property that I didn't film. And this year has literally been the first year I've taken it out, you know, and really done some adventures with it. Some I've filmed, some I haven't. I haven't got around to really going through that footage and you know, going from there. But basically, like I said before, front bumper, 3,500 pound synthetic line winch are the things that I put on it myself. The windshield, I actually got that for free from said friend that borrowed it, because he used to have a Teryx very, very similar to this one. And this actually came off of his unit, so you can see that it does have some scratches and things on it, but it was free, other than I had to buy a hardware kit, which the hardware kit was literally like 20 or 30 bucks. So I got a $400 windshield for like 30 bucks. No big deal. As far as how it's held up, other than you know, the damage that was already done and now fixed, and the recent damage where it lost the light bar and the roof, as you can see, it's held up very well. I have really enjoyed you know, driving this thing, taking it out on the trails. Just got back from a trip to Badlands in Indiana. If you've never been, you should. Honestly, it is a really cool four-wheeling spot. As far as the, you know, stats and everything I do have on it, this thing currently only has 700 miles on it. So I haven't really got a chance to ride it as much as I would like to. Hopefully I'm going to change that, because I actually have another trip with this planned back to the Badlands. in November for their annual Sasquatch hunt. So I will make sure that gets filmed as well. As far as any other accessories are concerned, I did actually forget that I did put on the rock sliders, as well. And they have definitely taken a little bit of a beating. They've done their job. So, I'm going to actually try to touch that up with some black spray paint, try to get those looking a little better. But like I said, they've done their job and they've protected the frame, and that's what really matters is, protecting the frame versus rock rails that if they really get that bad, I can remove them. This thing here, honestly, one of the best investments you can make if you're going to film anything. This is a RAM mount, so this is just the ball mount for the GoPro. This is where I put my GoPro most of the time. It's just right here. That way you get, the POV shot out of the front there. But other than that, it is completely stock. And I plan to keep it that way because I really don't need anything else. Like this unit does just fine. I am going to be getting, and I think I said that in the video that I made almost 3 years ago, I am going to be doing the gas tank mod on this here soon. In case you guys don't know, the Achilles heel of the Teryx is where the gas tank vent is, which is under this seat. And if you get enough water in here on the side of the side-by-side, it can go into the vent. It did happen to my buddy that used to own his Teryx. So he actually did the mod, and basically you run like a piece of vinyl tubing. From there it clamps on, and you can literally run it up and like put it like right here on the frame. And it comes with little air filters, that way nothing, no particulates or anything get put in there as you're cruising the trails. But yeah, guys, 3 years and 700 miles later, this thing is still a freaking tank. Honestly, if you're on the fence about a side-by-side and you want a 4-seater that's not like the length of a limousine, and overall quality and everything else, get a Kawasaki Teryx 4. Even if you just want a 2-seater, get the Kawasaki Teryx 2. They're literally, as somebody put it, they are the Nissan Frontiers of the side-by-side world. They don't change very often, and when they do, they just get better. Like, if it's not broke, don't fix it, is pretty much Kawasaki's motto when it comes to these particular units. Definitely some of the most comfortable OEM seats in the business. I will say one of the best, in my opinion. I mean, these seats are very dirty, at least on mine, because now I don't have the roof on it. I do have some birds that live up in the carport, and they do like to do their thing. But honestly, like I said, some of the best OEM seats on the market, in my opinion. They are definitely within the top 3, if not first place. And this is coming from somebody who has, put the miles on this, rode with my buddy when he had one, and used to sell, side-by-sides and ATVs. These are honestly some of the best seats, and they're so easy to clean and take out. I just haven't got a chance to do it yet because your boy is busy a lot. So hopefully that will kind of clear up here soon. Am thinking about getting some, new wheels and tires eventually. That's really about the only thing. I'm probably going to stick with the same size and everything just to keep the geometry the same. Did notice I got like nice little battle scar there, but at the end of the day, no big deal. And if you want another reason for buying one of these as far as power consumption is concerned, every single light on this thing is LEDs. So if you're worried about like the battery having too much draw or anything, these are all LEDs and they work very well. It's almost to the point where I really didn't need the light bar. It was a nice touch to have, but it's just one of those things where at the end of the day I really didn't need it. What I would like to see, you know, done on future models, I always do this during, like, you know, review my stuff videos, but I would like to see bigger tires stock. 28s aren't bad, don't get me wrong, but I feel like every side-by-side on the market should pretty much come standard with 32s at this point, because of just how gnarly a lot of trails are these days. You know, and I feel like it would just add to the ground clearance and everything, but at the same time, the 28s and the geometry the way that it is the reason why this thing is so stable. I just feel like this unit is just planted all the time. I never once feel like it's gonna roll over. It always feels stable. It just sticks. It's just like very nimble on four wheels there. The thing that I will say is a bad, and it's kind of like when I say this about my Can-Am too, I'm just one of these people that I don't like extra noises and stuff. I really don't. Like, I want the unit just to do what it does and call it a day. And the fact that you have to, you know, you got to put your seatbelt and stuff on to get this thing to go over like 5 miles an hour, and it'll beep at you and everything else, is just, I don't know, it's a little annoying. I know people are gonna go, just throw on your seatbelt, Combs. Well, there's times where, you know, you're trying to get the thing off the trailer, or, you know, on or off the trailer actually, or, you know, you're just kind of bumming it back into the garage, or in my case, the carport. You really don't want to throw on a seatbelt to be in the thing for a minute tops. So I think it's kind of dumb on Kawasaki's part to do that. I know there's mods to get around it, but at the same time, this thing still does have a warranty, so I kind of want to keep it, you know, as stock as humanly possible, so that way I don't void any warranties, and I'm pretty sure that would do it. But anyway, guys, after 3 years, like I said, 700 miles, I still love the Kawasaki Teryx 4, and I would highly recommend anybody that's on the fence about a side-by-side get one. You know, for what you get versus what you pay, it's honestly one of the best deals on the market. Nowhere in the world are you gonna get, you know, the Fox needle clicker shocks on any model of the Teryx that you get, whether you get the base model or you go all the way up to the LE, which is like, you know, the big kahuna. You will get the Fox needle clickers, which good on Kawasaki for giving, you know, premium features on, you know, the lower end units, which this one I believe is more of like middle of the road with the camo. Honestly, not my first choice in color. You know, I really would have liked to have gotten like the lime green or the black, but at the time, this was the one that was available. It was on the floor, and I knew I wanted to get a Teryx, and I had the ability to do so. So that's why I went with the camo. As far as, you know, must-haves, if you're going to get a Teryx, I would definitely say you get the rock sliders for sure. For the simple fact that, you know, because of the frame position and where it is, I do actually have a spot that has a dent in it before I got the rock rails. I think it's on this side of the unit. It is right here. So you can see there's a little indent. So definitely get the rock rails. They are a drill-in application, so you do have to drill on that, but they give you the instructions. It was simple enough that I knocked it out in literally an hour. I had those on in an hour. The toughest thing I've had to put on this was, believe it or not, the winch. And actually I ended up cheating a little bit, because the way the front bumper was, I could either mount it so it would snake out from here and be behind the bumper, but I would have had to have bought a $120 adapter plate, or I could have put it right where I did and then ran my wires accordingly. So that's one thing I will say. If you're gonna, you know, go that route, definitely save yourself a little money, put the winch on top, and don't worry about that stupid adapter plate. But yeah, if you guys have any other questions about the Teryx, you can feel free to leave them in the comments below. But like I said, I highly recommend this particular side-by-side. You know, the main complaint people have is a little bit of the noise. Both the KRX and this are both not known for being quiet, but if you're buying a side-by-side to be quiet, you might as well get a golf cart at that point. You know, people do say there's a lot of cabin noise, and there is. This is not a unit that you're going to have a regular conversation in, because, you know, your engine and your transmission are all like right here. So but you know, that doesn't bother me any. You can get, you know, your fair share of comm systems and everything else. I haven't gotten that crazy with it because up until my father went for the first time, and now my mother has gone, and my girlfriend, they are now like, okay, this is kind of cool. I used to just drive this thing by myself most of the time. Sometimes I feel like I'm the Uber, because I don't mix alcohol and four-wheeling. So yeah, I normally would drive my friends around. And total ADD moment, I never even told you guys what the heck happened to the roof. So after my buddy got it back to me, he put a metal roof on it. Well, over time, that metal roof started to get more and more loose. And actually, on the last trip I went on, we were driving home in the dark, and the roof left the chat. And it blew off somewhere in rural Indiana. It just is gone, along with the light bar. So if the light bar survived, whoever found it, hey, free light bar for you. But I'm sure that roof was probably not in a good state, because the company that make those, I found out later when I went to research to buy, or, you know, buying a new one, have horrible reviews for their roof, because the brackets don't fit right and the metal isn't as strong as people would like it to be. So I have one at the dealership that I shop at. I have a plastic one, the OEM one, to throw back on, and that'll be the plan. Is just to put the OEM one back on and get a light bar at some point. I'll tape off those wires for now and just kind of leave it. But yeah, I honestly recommend the plastic when it comes to most accessories on your side-by-side, except for, you know, obviously, you know, bumpers and stuff like that, because they just don't flex as much and they seem to hold up way better than anything metal. But yeah, guys, so like I said, if you have any other questions or anything about the Teryx, I'd be happy to answer them. It is the best side-by-side I've owned, and I have owned a few in my day. I mean, I'm not trying to sound like I'm 1,000 years old, but I have been doing the hobby for 15 years. So, you know, when it comes to off-roading and things, I do know what I'm talking about. And like I said, I used to sell these at one point, and I have pretty much put all of them through their paces, and Kawasaki just has it going on, man. They do. I do like Can-Am's products as well, you know, as I do own a Can-Am Raker. But in my opinion, Kawasaki, man, they kick ass off-road. You know, they may not be the best thing on the street. That's up for debate. But as far as, you know, off-road is concerned, the Teryx just has my heart, man. It just has my heart. So anyway, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and quit rambling. I'm gonna get off of here. So like I said, I've said it for 3 times now. Any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. If you're new to the channel, because I know a lot of new people will show up for these videos, if you got any kind of cool information or enjoyment out of this, please consider hitting that like button, and also turning that red subscribe button gray, and joining the family here, the friends and neighbors. But anyway, y'all, I'm gonna close this one out like I do with most videos when I remember to do an intro and outro, which is the adventurer's prayer. May the wind be at your back. May the skies be clear. And may every single one of you have safe travels to destinations unknown. I'm Combs, live from my house, aka the Macho Manor. And I'm out.